Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Justin, and once again I'm back with another review, this week for Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. So The Crimes of Grindelwald is the second entry in the Fantastic Beasts series. It basically follows up a little bit after the events of the first film. Gellert Grindelwald breaks free from prison at the beginning of this movie, and it fast forwards a little bit, a few months later, and at this point he's gained some followers, he's recruiting all of these people, trying to persuade them to join his cause. With that being said, Albus Dumbledore enlists the hero from the first film, Newt Scamander, to basically thwart Grindelwald's plan. So honestly, that's the super duper simplified version of the plot. Unfortunately, this movie has about 15 different subplots going on. It's kind of ridiculous. They're introducing all these new characters and trying to give them backstories. They're taking all of these different characters that you thought were just one-off characters in the first film and bringing them back and trying to give them something to do, and it just comes off as stale. Don't get me wrong, there is a fair amount of characters I did like in this movie, but there's just some of them, like Lita Lestrange, for example, played by Zoe Kravitz. She did a good job, but there was just all these ridiculous subplots going on around her. It didn't really even give me time to care for her. This is probably going to be a weird comparison, but this movie reminded me a lot of the story mode in Grand Theft Auto 5. Basically, there's just so many freaking side missions going on, you start to forget what the main plot was even about. Eddie Redmayne is back as Newt Scamander, and he does an okay job. I never really vibed with this character too much in the first film. When he interacted with people, he would always just kind of talk to them and like, "Hi, how are you doing? What's going on?" He would kind of like look down and just look away like he has like a massive amount of anxiety. I guess maybe that's why he interacts with magical creatures, but it just makes me feel really uneasy whenever I see him interacting with someone. Jacob Kowalski and Queenie Goldstein are back in this film, and it's neat to see where their characters kind of went after the events of the first film. They didn't really have too much to do early on, but towards the middle and end of the films, I was actually really excited about their characters, and I like that. At the end of the film, their character arc was something unique and different, and it makes me excited for what they're going to do with them in the third one. Queenie's sister Tina's back in this film, and she's there. Jude Law's in this movie, and to my surprise, he actually did a really good job playing younger Dumbledore. In this one, as per Harry Potter lore, we see him as a defense against the dark arts teacher. It was kind of neat to see him interact with the kids more than he did in the other films. And the one who surprised me the most was Johnny Depp as Gellert Grindelwald, because in the first film, I just thought they randomly casted Johnny Depp for the sake of having someone big in the movie, but they actually had a good motivation for his character in this film. In this one, he's trying to round up all of the pureblood wizards and witches he can and basically just cleanse the world of all non-magic folk. And I'm not gonna lie, with his character, there were some dark moments in this film. I was just like, damn, they went there. So Ezra Miller's character, Credence, is back in this film, and his plot arc was kind of dull. It was really uneventful, and even the ending leaves you going, what? And I guess they tried to make his character arc a little bit interesting by adding in Nagini, the snake from the Harry Potter films. And don't get me wrong, her backstory was cool and all, but honestly, if she wasn't in the movie, it wouldn't have been any different. And in addition, there's like 6 or 7 other characters in this movie that they're trying to shine the spotlight on. It just takes away from all of the other main characters. One last negative is, okay, I know, magic is a cool thing. I love to see it in the Harry Potter films. I like to see it in the first Fantastic Beasts movie. And in this one, they do show it, but it's similar to the first Transformers movie. In the first Transformers movie, they show all of them transforming in all of their glory. They take their time. It looks really cool. You see all the mechanical parts and everything. But as the movies progress, they just transform really quick. They do it in a split second. They don't need to show that anymore. You know that they transform. That's what they do. In this one, they kind of still dwell on the magic. If they're going through a secret portal, it takes 30 to 40 seconds for the director to show us that. There's one scene where they're cleaning up a moving circus and basically stuff is spinning for almost a minute. I'm just like, alright, we've seen people put dishes away in other movies. We've seen people close up rooms in the first Fantastic Beasts movie. Like, come on guys, wrap it up. So despite there being a decent amount of negatives in this film, let's talk about the positives. So there was a lot of good action sequences. The CGI looked fantastic. And this isn't obviously spoiling anything because they showed it in the trailers, but there's a lot of callbacks to the previous Harry Potter films. Another plus side is you just get to see more of the wizarding world in general. You get to see what a wizard prison looks like in America. You get to see what the wizarding world in Paris, France looks like. If there's one other positive that can be said about this film, I think it's the third act, because the third act was the strongest in this. It really sets up for the next, what is there, 5 movies in total? The only thing that really held back the third act, in my opinion, was Credence's character, but besides that, it was a really strong ending. So long story short, this movie had a decent amount of positives, but it also had a decent amount of negatives. Some characters were good, some characters were bad. Some subplots were good, but unfortunately they're just outweighed by a lot of stupid subplots. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it can be exhausting to watch all the magic going down in this movie, but regardless, it's still fun to be back in the Wizarding World. Also worth noting that the movie did have a good soundtrack. There's good callbacks to the original Harry Potter series, but unfortunately it's just not enough for me to say this is a great movie. Guys, I would suggest checking this out. Maybe wait till there's a matinee showing. 6.5 out of 10.